We're here. Got it.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to call the business meeting of the Portland Board of Public Education to order. It is Tuesday, December 20th, 2016, and the board is meeting at Lyman Moore Middle School in the cafeteria. May I please have the superintendent call the rolls?
Ms. Seeliger?
Here.
Ms. Van Dil?
Here.
Ms. Hatzenbuehler?
Here.
Ms. Davis?
Here.
Ms. Thompson?
Here.
Ms. Morioni?
Here.
Mr. Eater?
Here.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Here.
Ms. Donato?
Here.
Ms. Farah?
Here.
Ms. Hassan? And Mr. Siegel?
Here.
And Chair Trevorrow?
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm beginning tonight with the chair's report. I wanted to thank our student representatives for inviting the superintendent and I to have pizza with them last week on Wednesday. We were able to sit in on their orientation where the outgoing student reps met with the incoming student reps. And like I said, we ate pizza and we were able to get an idea of what their interests were on the board and what they'd like to accomplish this coming year. So thank you for having us join you, and we look forward to working with you this year. I also wanted to report that the legislative delegation meetings have started up as of this week on Monday at 8 o'clock. These are meetings between the City Council, the city staff, the Portland Legislative Delegation, and the school department and school board. And Superintendent Botana, as well as Board Member Hatzenbuehler, attended. These are important meetings for the school district to be able to identify legislative needs and ask our representatives to keep those in mind in their work through the legislative session. At your desks tonight, you'll find a schedule for the meeting schedule for the year. This is something that the superintendent and I worked on where we've laid out not only the business meetings for the year, but also the committee meetings and the retreats. And it's a schedule that has the board meetings all on Tuesday nights. So the idea behind this was to something that the board has talked about for a long time, which is sort of streamlining our meetings and minimizing the amount of time we're all spending in meetings. We hope that dedicating one evening per week will help to meet that goal. Lastly, I just wanted to let the board members know that committee assignments will be coming out shortly. I did receive feedback from everybody in the form of surveys on your committee preferences, and I'll be touching base with you individually over the next week to go over that, and with a goal of on January 3rd being able to roll out committee assignments. And that concludes the chair's report. Moving on to report of the superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Varro. During February of 2016, the Maine Department of Education's Literacy for Maine initiative organized and promoted the Read to Me Challenge. This simple but powerful campaign challenged adults to read to children for 15 minutes, to capture that reading episode via a photo, and then post it on social media to challenge others to do the same. More than 100 Maine schools, community literacy teams, and other literacy-related organizations partnered in the 2016 campaign. Reading aloud to children is one of the most cost-effective and beneficial methods of building children's literacy skills. The simple act of reading aloud to a child for 15 minutes a day for 5 years results in, I hope the math works out, 27,375 minutes of language exposure, which can put children on the path to a high level of literacy achievement. Reading aloud exposes children to the world around them, helps them see reading as an enjoyable and valuable activity, and often strengthens bonds with trusted adults. I invite schools and partner organizations to join the challenge and to encourage others to do the same. You can find out more information on the Read to Me Challenge on the Read to Me Challenge Partner 2017 link on the Maine Department of Education website. And that's linked in our webpage as well. Metro is inviting Portland Public School high school students to fill out a new survey on service and improvements they think are needed. Metro, and many of you recall they presented and talked about this, they want to learn more about students' experience riding the buses and have them help Metro to prioritize a list of possible improvements, such as having later evening service or more trips per hour on some routes during the day. The Metro Transit Service High School Student Survey is open until January 10th at 2 p.m. Students can find the survey link on our website, www.portlandschools.org, and it will also be posted on individual high school websites. This school year marks the second year of the Metro Transit Pass program for Portland Public Schools high school students, made possible through the partnership between the Greater Portland Transit District, Metro, and PPS. The program provides a free Metro Pass to all Portland high school students enrolled in Portland, Deering, and Casco Bay high schools. They get unlimited use of Metro during the academic school year, including weekends and break periods. I encourage students to take this survey and give Metro their feedback to help make this successful program even better. This evening we have 3 recognitions. First, we're honored to present a special recognition. This year, the Maine Education Association partnered with News Center on a unique award called Inspiring Educators. The feature highlights the work of our great educators and the impact they have on students, teaching and learning. As part of the program, MEA members nominate educators who are making a difference. Those selected are featured on an upcoming news segment on News Center. Bruce Lane, one of our bus drivers, was nominated and selected to receive this award. Quotes from Bruce's nomination included how he always, quote, picks students up in the morning and takes them home in the afternoon with patience and cheerful greetings. He is soft-spoken and gives students great respect, especially those who come from afar and speak languages other than English. He talks with students in a way to let them know that he cares about them, their safety, and also their well-being. He reminds students in a positive way. In a way, he also taught, this is the teacher that nominated him speaking, in a way, he also taught me about giving each child a smile and positive comments to encourage them to grow up, to be involved and productive citizens. He is truly a great educator and an individual with positive energy. Of course, we are very fortunate to have Bruce among us. So thank you, Bruce. Wait! Bruce! Don't go! Next, as many of you already know, this year's Maine Principals Association, Maine's Principal Association announced one of our outstanding assistant principals as its outstanding assistant principal of the year on Thursday, December 1st. That assistant principal is Ann Hanna of Ocean Avenue Elementary School. The MPA based their award on Ann's strong educational leadership, showing a strong commitment to excellence and a desire to meet the academic and social needs of students. The MPA was quoted to say that, quote, Her ability to be an outstanding leader, self-reflective, and exceed her own goals is demonstrated by the tremendous growth in student learning. From beginning a teaching career at a now non-existent Murata Adams School on Munjoy Hill as a first-grade teacher in 1990 to outstanding Assistant Principal of the Year today is no small feat and well-deserved. We are proud and honored to recognize Ann Hanna for receiving this award. And now we'll move on to the Essence of PPS Award. This award recognizes staff members who embody the work that is happening at their schools and reflect the goals and mission of their schools and the district. Tonight, because we're at Lyman Moore, we're pleased to recognize David Aguirre, an educational technician at Lyman Moore Middle School. He was nominated by Lyman Moore's principal, Ben Donaldson, and here's what Principal Donaldson had to say about Mr. Aguirre. David is an ed tech in the Functional Life Skills program at Moore, which serves students with physical disabilities. David is a dedicated teacher and coach who guides many students and adults in our community, whether he's helping his students through learning activities or helping his athletes push themselves to run faster. David is a masterful mentor to students. Whether he's organizing faculty to share their passions by sharing a physical collection of items from their childhood, or to remain physically active and connected through morning basketball games at school, David shares his energy and passion for life with our entire faculty. The mission of Moore and the Portland Public Schools is to honor individuals for who they are and how they can contribute to their communities. And David is the essence of that. Put simply, Moore wouldn't be the same without David. Congratulations, Mr. Aguirre. You are clearly deserving of this recognition. Thank you for all that you do for your students, your colleagues, and the Portland Public Schools. And last but not least, we'd also recognize tonight Ruth Siegel, a most generous and skilled member of our community, just in time for the cold temperatures. Ms. Siegel recently donated 122 colorful knitted hats for our elementary school students, all handmade by her. They're in varied sizes so they can keep a lot of our students warm this winter. Ms. Siegel, a former secretary at Lincoln Middle School, is the mother of 9 and the grandmother of no less than our PATH student representative, Kevin Siegel, who said she began knitting the hats way back in the summer. Kevin said he's not surprised by her generosity because she's always been a big supporter of the Portland Public Schools. Ms. Siegel, thank you very much for your work and this thoughtful and helpful donation. And that So next on our agenda, I'm going to ask Principal Ben Donaldson to come forward and his team to share their school improvement plan.
Thank you, Henry. right, so thank you, members of the school committee, for having us and for joining us on our turf here tonight. We're happy to have you here at Moore. As Superintendent Botana said, I am Ben Donaldson, the principal here, and I have Sarah Saroy, who is our teaching strategist. We're two parts of a three-headed monster here of sorts. We're missing Jake Giesman, our faithful assistant principal who had to take his son home. So he regrets. He would have loved to have been part of this. But before we get going, we do have some other faithful faculty who have joined us in support. So I really want to appreciate them for being here tonight and staying. So thank you very much for being here. Coffee is on me tomorrow. And we'll get through these last couple days and then have a vacation. So we have a quick slideshow to share with you, which includes some evidence that we've gathered over the last few months as I've gotten started here. I started this summer, and really this has been an endeavor to get to know the people, adults, students, and really get a sense of what this school is all about as we move forward together. The t-shirts, the saying, "We are more together," has taken on a bit of life of its own. The right-hand photo here, this is a pep rally from 2 weeks ago, and you can see one of our ed techs all the way on the right with her shirt on. Pretty much every day you're here, you can see one of these shirts somewhere on an adult and possibly on a lucky student who got one at the student store. So it's been pretty neat. So Sarah and I will go through and we'll share, and then we'll have a little time for questions at the end. Anyone who's interested in getting a hold of this, Janet has copies of it. We didn't make copies to try to save a little paper. So, Lyman Moore, who are we? Let's see if we can get this started. There we go. So, by the numbers, as a school, we're right around 500 kids, but we're changing. So, as of this afternoon, we're now at 56 students transferring in since the beginning of this school year. We've had 39 transfer out since September. So you can tell that our student population shifts by the day, by the week. And that's about 10% of our kids have changed since September. It's an interesting part of our school dynamic. We have 152 ELL students, 153 starting in early January. 102 of those students are getting increased services because they're designated as limited English proficiency. Roughly 65 students with IEPs. We also host a district program for functional life skills for students who are excuse me, in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And the middle school program for students who are deaf and hard of hearing from Governor Baxter's school. We're also really fortunate to have Title I programming here in math and reading support. So you can see the numbers there, about 120 kids. Allison just updated me, 110, but we're hoping to get to 120 served this school year for math support. And about 80 kids who are getting support for literacy through the Read 180 program and other literacy interventions. All told, we're almost triple digits for faculty and staff in the building. So it's a very busy place, and it's exciting. We like it that way. On the right-hand side, this year, since I started in June, you can see the list of changes. So those are all new people who have joined the community. What's the same, though, is that we have an incredible, dedicated, hardworking group of people here who want to make this school better for each other to work in and better for kids to go to school, to be here. So we're all committed to that. So we try to boil it down. We're really about three big things. Engaging kids in work that matters. So that ranges from things at the classroom level where teachers are pushing kids to dig in, to things that happen across grade levels. And our faculty have engaged in some really creative work over the last couple weeks to try to envision what really powerful grade level experiences can be for our students here. So we're working through that. A lot of our work comes back to serving the communities that we're from and that we belong to. So you can see in the top right-hand picture, you've got a group of students who's in our food pantry program and in our space. So what they're doing is they're volunteering to help organize that space and make sure that it's a resource for kids and families here. Really incredible student and faculty-driven project here. Bottom left, you can see a group of faculty. Those are all teachers here. And that was from a day this fall when we were supposed to send all of our students out into the community to gather food donations for that pantry. The weather didn't cooperate, so those 5 teachers went out. It was a day we got about 1.5 inches of rain, and those 5 teachers went out and collected food for us, which is pretty exceptional effort. And the final thing that we're really focused on is really getting to know students and families and make this an inclusive community. So if you actually turn back this way, you can see up and above in the cafeteria, what we've represented is countries of birth for all of our students and adults who work in the building. And so we started from a list that was generated of where kids were born. And so we bought a bunch of the flags and put just the flags up, not the country names. And then we played this kind of game of, okay, what are all these flags? What are the countries? And over the last couple weeks, 3 weeks, we've had some pretty incredible conversations with kids about where they're from, where they identify as being from, and it's raised really cool conversations about what it means to be born somewhere and what that always will mean for kids and for adults. So one of our cafeteria staff was born in Germany, and so she said, well, I was born in Germany, but don't get a flag. And so we made a big deal of putting it up one day, and she was, appropriately embarrassed. It was great. So, but it is a pretty exciting thing. I'm just waiting for all the wrinkles to come out of those. If anyone has ideas, I'd take those. Another community thing, you might have seen it. Do you have an idea?
Iron at a low heat with a pressing cloth.
I've heard the iron would go right through them. I don't know.
Wait for the summer.
Summertime, okay. All right. I like that answer. All right. So you may have also seen as you came in, our assistant principal, Jake Giesman, has endeavored to make all of our students famous through 2-minute interviews. So he's been asking them, do you want to be famous? And they say, yeah, of course I do. And then he asks them questions and says, all right, you're about to be famous. And so I'll just show a couple of them, but in 3 weeks, I think he's interviewed 75 or 80 kids, and his goal is to do all 500 before the school year is over. So I'll just walk through a couple of these. All right, so we're going to go nitty-gritty for a few minutes here because the instructions were to share the school success plan, so we should do that. We have 3 goals for the year. First big one aligns with district goals to move toward proficiency. And we've done it, or we've endeavored to do it, by focusing on habits of work and learning with our students. And this is transformative work for faculty members to be separating the habits of work and learning from the content and the skill mastery. So like the academics are separate. And we've gotten really clear about that. And as a result, students are getting clearer about that. And it has been really excellent work to start the year. The other piece of this goal is that it's really intertwined with what's happening at Lincoln and King. And we have developed really and built upon some existing relationships across those schools that have incredible potential. And at sort of all levels and all directions, it feels like we're moving in a really positive direction in our collaboration with those schools. So we're focusing on Howells this year, and we're moving toward content and skills proficiency. So we're engaging in those conversations, but our theory of action here is if we get really good at Howells, then we'll be ready to move to that content and skill proficiency and do it really well. So we're not trying to do everything all at once and kind of fumble through it. We're learning about Howells, and then we're going to be ready to go on the academic side, starting in the fall. So that's where we are with Goal 1. Sarah is going to talk a little bit about Goal 2 and Goal 3.
So Goal 2 relates to positive behavioral interventions and supports. And at Moore, we have had PBIS in place for a number of years, and it was mostly focusing on common areas. So hallway expectations, cafeteria, and we had to solve the problem of how to pull PBIS and positive behavior supports into the classroom. And the answer was Howells, right? We're all aligned for the same things. So we revamped our PBIS system to align with Howells. So it's all one systems for kids. And then through that process, we revitalized the positive reinforcement. We added some supports for kids because we know adolescents need practice and they need additional coaching and that they need support. So we put in a system where students are struggling to meet their Howells and they've been redirected a few times in a classroom. They can head down to the support hallway, the middle hallway, guidance hallway, and meet with an assistant principal or with me or social worker to re-practice the expectations and then get back to class. We also revamped our 504s and all of our support plans to align with the existing PBIS systems. So it really is for kids, parents, and for teachers, all one system that funnels in really clearly. It gets better because we also have a student support system that uses the same exact supports. So we have this student support data team, right? This is RTI. We're doing real RTI. And the student support data team oversees all of the school data, and it funnels into one place. And this is sort of the bird's eye view version of the school to make sure that all of the plans, 504, IEP, and general education support plans are functioning well and that students are achieving, right? So we have thresholds that when we see students have met for, say, attendance or office discipline referrals, we investigate and ensure that the programming is appropriate. So for general education, we have a very specific flow for how students get supports, and we align those behavior supports and plans with our Howells standards. We've streamlined the referral process and the review process. We've also captured them all in Infinite Campus so that the plans are really clear to everyone who works here, and everyone can use common language to support our kids. And it supports our students as they go through transitions, either to another grade level in our school or onto high school as well. The students are involved in their own planning and their own plan development. We conduct student interviews with them so that they can be part and build ownership for their goals. And we get an idea of what really helps them learn, which is really important, and it's a really important part of their success.
I like that, the falcon's eye view, you know? That's what the falcon's about. So how do those things all connect? I think you heard Sarah pick up on the Howells do connect from proficiency work to PBIS and what kids see and hear and feel every day here. And I think they're a huge part of what we're doing in student support. And so what we're doing with these three goals is trying to build a lot of coherence across a student's day. And so if they're achieving academically and we're pushing them, we're not introducing a whole new schema. We're not saying, oh, you're ready for the next thing, so let's talk about it in a totally different way. Or, hey, you're struggling in your class, oh, well, let's bump you over here and talk about this RTI thing where you are introduced to all this new language. So what we think and what we hope is that we're clear with one another so the adults are more and more on the same page. And that for kids, this is going to be really powerful because throughout their time here at Moore, they're going to be hearing a lot of the same language, and so they can get it, and so that they can move on to pushing themselves academically and socially and emotionally, and so that they're going to leave here knowing a lot about themselves and how they're going to be successful, so that they can then go make it happen, right? If we're at the end of middle school and they're still grasping and trying to figure out what this school thing is all about and how they can be successful in it, then we're sending them to Portland and Casco Bay and to Deering, sort of wondering who they are as a student and how they can be successful, right? We want them to know. And we think in time they will be ready. And I'm incredibly indebted to these folks and to the 90 others who will show up early tomorrow to make it all happen. And I think a big piece of the synergy that we have here and what's working is that we've got adults who are putting some of our own stuff aside, you know, me included, being new in the building. I'm trying to learn as much as possible and support as much as possible because we want the same thing, right? We want kids here to be wildly successful, and that's what we're all about. Thanks. Questions? Please.
Thank you very much. So earlier in the year, I went to the Turn Conference in Chicago with Caroline, and she gave a great presentation on ACEs and being trauma-informed in the classroom. And I was wondering if you could provide some specific information around what you're doing here, because I know it's pretty special.
Yeah, so I think it's been a piece of people's work informally for a long time.
And explain what ACEs is, because I don't know if everybody knows what ACEs are. Adverse Childhood Experiences.
Yes, thank you. So we've got incredible partnerships at the district level with Barrett and Dory. Barrett was here earlier tonight. And they came and spoke this summer with all of our administrators and have been doing some really neat work at all of the middle schools. And they came in October this year and spent a couple hours with our faculty, helping us just kind of recognize where some of our students are coming from and what they're dealing with as they walk through our doors in the morning. And just helping all of us as adults who have a certain amount of comfort and a certain amount of privilege where we are right now, helping us recognize that that is not the case for many of our students. And so we as a school are working through how to best support students. And Sarah talks a lot about that. But the school-wide approach is to be informed and aware, and then work like crazy to try to level the playing field where we can, but also letting go of some of the pieces that we can't control. I think that's potentially a huge energy draw is when you sort of focus on things you can't control. So that's part of what we do with kids too. We help them recognize what can you control, what can't you control, and let's move forward with your energy invested on what you can control.
So, first of all, Mr. Donaldson, thank you so much for the presentation. I love the shirts. I'm the proud wearer of one of those shirts when I run. It's become my go-to running shirt. So you asked me when you gave it to me if I would represent, and I said, absolutely, I will. And so, I've been doing that everywhere I've run, which I've not done a lot of lately because of the ice. But so I love the energy that you and your team bring to the work that you're doing in this building. It's a great place to come and see. I see just amazing things happening for kids. And, you know, I'm not here in classrooms all the time, but every time that I've been here, I see nothing but amazing things happening for kids. So thank you to all of you for the work that you do. And I'm just so proud of the work that's happening here at Moore.
Thank you very much. We'll get some more shirts for the rest of you. Yeah.
I'm alumni, so.
You can have 2 if you want. Yes.
Oh, here you go.
There you go.
How has the parents' feedback been about the programs?
Good questions. Specific programs, or are you just curious about?
Just in general.
Yeah. So I think one thing that we're trying to do is get a full range of our families into the building and connected with what we're doing. And one example of that is Allison, who's sitting here in the front row all the way to the right. Last night was at the Front Street Study Center doing a presentation for families about habits of work and learning and helping families understand what they are and how they can help their kids do well with them. So I think we're doing a couple things to try to bring families here, but also to go out into the community and connect with individual families and groups to take our work and scale it to the city, kind of. Early returns and early feedback are that people are feeling really positive about what's happening here. Another example, last night we had our winter or holiday music concerts. So our orchestra played, our band played, our chorus sang. And families left feeling really great about those offerings for kids here and their kids' experiences here, not just in music, but across the day. So I hear a lot of great things. I think you're hearing good things too, right, everybody? We're not perfect. We're getting other feedback as well, and we're open to it and growing. So, yeah, thanks for the question. Yeah.
So thank you for sharing your success plan with us. My daughter is going to be a student here in a couple of years.
Great.
And your excitement and your passion come across so sincere. So I'm excited to soon be a Moore parent. I see that you are missing one country that I think my daughter can help you guys with. She was not born in Puerto Rico, but she's quite proud of that. So maybe in a couple of years I can, how do you say, volunteer my Puerto Rican flag, and we can hang it up there and grow this great tradition that you guys have started. I see great value in that, and I want to thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
It's great to hear.
Yeah.
Oh, we have one more.
Oh.
Christina?
Sorry. Yeah, I went to Lyman Moore here. I graduated a few years ago.
Awesome.
And we didn't have the flags here when I was here. Like, it was tough having like a strong community here. But my 2 younger siblings go here, Wani and Patia, and I know they love coming to school. They brush their teeth. They love coming here. And the one question I was wondering is, do you feel like the classes are mixed very well? I saw the numbers of ELL students. Do you feel like they're being mixed into the right classes and being challenged enough, or as you'd expect any other student to be? Thanks.
Yeah, Christina, thank you very much for that question. And with our population changing really fast and new students enrolling, and some of those students are coming from, South Portland or from Westbrook, but some of those students are coming from outside the country, and they just showed up here, and they're starting classes after vacation. So the experiences of those students, both educationally and just in their lives, are very wide-ranging. So one challenge that we have as a school is developing programming that is responsive to exactly what kids need when the kids change. So we started the year with a very small program for brand new English language speakers. And we've had to grow that really quickly because we've had our student population who needed it tripled since September, right? So we have suddenly all of these students who need that level of support. So we don't get new teachers right away. So something else has to kind of adjust and flex. So the answer is it's not perfect. What we're trying to do is identify the needs of the students really well and then fill those as best that we possibly can. All right, and that's from adult support. But to speak to your initial question really specifically, I think our goal is to mainstream students as soon as they're ready, educationally and with the skills, so that they can be working with our full range of students and with all of our teachers and being pushed and ready to be in high school when they get there. So, little plug for the committee. It's a challenge that we face. And our staffing adjusting on the fly is the teachers are doing incredible work, but it's tough to do when the population changes that quickly. So thank you, great question.
Okay. That's everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, and Ms. Davis reminded me that I did skip over the student report, and that's because we don't have one this evening. We'll be starting that on January 3rd. So moving into report of the secretary, consideration and action to approve the meeting minutes of December 5th, 6th, and 13th, 2016. Do I have a motion? Ms. Seeliger, seconded by Ms. Davis. Are there any questions on the meeting minutes? Any public comment on the meeting minutes? Any board comment on the meeting minutes? Seeing none, I would call for a vote. All those in favor? And that's unanimous with the students voting in the affirmative. Moving on to report of the committees. I believe the only committee that has a report tonight is the Finance and Operations Committee. Ms. Hatzenbuehler, do you want to update us on that? Yeah.
So tomorrow night is the joint Finance and Operations Committee meeting where we're going to be delving pretty deeply into the CIP work. The materials have gone out to both committee members. There will be some challenge in the sense that we'll be getting into that work and then the committees might change, but I think that potentially some committee members will be the same, and getting to that work before the new year I think is where we should be. And I think that we're also setting ourselves up just in the materials and the intention alone a little bit better than we have in the past. So I'm looking forward to that. The meeting is at Central Office tomorrow at 6 o'clock.
Thank you. Are there any other member reports? Ms. Mariani?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to report on the Ad Hoc Facilities Committee. This Thursday night, December 22nd, will be our next ad hoc meeting. It's from 5 to 7 at City Hall. The agenda items for that evening will be including the status of the state funding, which our Superintendent Botana recently met with our Maine Department of Education to bring forward a request to maintain Longfellow and Reiki on the state-funded list. That was voted down by those members of that group. And so, unfortunately, that will not be part of our ability to move forward funding for those schools. But however, it does not mean in any way, and I want to make sure that the public knows this, it does not mean that that was because now the committee is in any way taking off Longfellow and Reiki from those four. The four schools are still being, will be discussed Thursday night. The committee's worked very hard in answering questions, close to 100 questions that have gone to staff and to both city and school staff to be answered. That's all been reviewed and been very thorough. Also, line by line, financially, with each school, it's been reviewed. We've also had our bond counsel and our city finance director included in all of those discussions. And so this coming Thursday, also on the agenda is a look at our timeline and what would happen next with the committee work, which the intent is to come up with a recommendation that would go back to the school board for a vote. So all things are moving forward. We, again, have been meeting monthly since August, and look forward to hopefully a recommendation that we could agree upon Thursday night. If not, we'll be moving into January with another meeting. The public hearing is scheduled. It will be dependent on whether or not we will have a recommendation after Thursday night. Also, just wanted to mention to District 5 residents that Councilor Brennerman and myself will be meeting tomorrow night at Casco Bay High School at 6:30. This is intended for District 5 community members to have a place to meet with both elected officials to voice their concerns, but also to receive an update of what I just reported out just now. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Morioni. Any other member concerns or reports? Ms. Hatzenbuehler.
Just quickly, the report on the ad hoc, the Parent Partnership Ad Hoc Committee, the final policy recommendation has been put forward, and I believe that there'll be a workshop potentially on that within the next month or so, just to give a heads up on where that is.
Yeah, that was sent in last week, and it is with the attorneys right now being reviewed, and then we will schedule the workshop afterwards.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other member concerns? Seeing none, moving on to consent items. Would the superintendent please read the items into consent?
Yes, Reiki Elementary School received parkas, snow pants, boots, hats, mittens, and socks valued at $2,500 from the National Council of Jewish Women of Cumberland Foreside. Thank you very much. The Portland Public Schools Orchestra Program received 2 violins valued at $400 from Susan Crandall of Brunswick, Maine. Thank you, Ms. Crandall. And the district received 112 knitted hats for students in grades K through 5, valued at $952 from Ruth Siegel of Portland. Thank you, Ms. Siegel.
Thank you. Moving on to old business. There is none. And moving on to new business, we have a first read to revise policy BE, Portland Board of Public Education meetings. Remember that as a first read, there is no discussion. Moving into personnel, consideration and action to approve the personnel items listed. Election of probationary teachers. Do I have a motion? Ms. Vendel, seconded by Ms. Hatzenbuehler. Are there any questions on the motion? Where it is a personnel item, there is no
Madam
public.
Chair.
Oh, sorry. Ms. Vendel.
I'm just going to ask, are these positions that we are hiring for within the budget?
Yes, these positions are all in the budget, and they are replacements for, these were open positions that were filled.
Thank you.
Any other questions? There is no public comment. Any board discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the personnel items listed? That's Unanimous with the students voting in the majority. And there is no board focus on educational items. Where it is before the hour of 10 o'clock, we will take public comment on any items not on this evening's agenda. I don't see any public. So we'll conclude public comment.
We're okay.
Thanks. Okay, and before we adjourn, just to notify the viewing public, we are having a workshop to follow this meeting on Policy BE, Portland Board of Public Education meetings. And with that, I would call for a motion to adjourn. Ms. Davis, seconded by Mr. Eater. All those in favor? It's unanimous.